Girls, it's Mr. Legg here. This morning, I'm just recording this screencast for you on the final subtopic of the measurement topic, which is time. And it's actually a very cool, very real-world application subtopic. So here's what we're going to be studying. We're going to be studying how to convert between different units of time, how to convert between 24-hour time and 12-hour time, how to use a time zone map to relate different time zones around the world. So what you should have ready to go is the time booklet. I emailed you on Thursday. So if you don't have that, maybe pause the screencast now and get that already. It's also on the portal if you can't find that email. All right. So let's have a go here at completing what should be a similar looking unit conversion chart for units of time. All right. Let's start with years. How many months in a year? Times 12. So 1 year times 12 is 12 months. 1 year times 52 and a bit. It's 52 and a bit weeks. That means when we're going from months to years, we divide by 12. And when we're going from weeks to years, we're going to divide by 52 and a bit. Months to weeks, we're going to multiply by 4.3. Weeks to months, we're going to divide by 4.3. And obviously the 4.3 is an approximation and it depends a little bit on which month you're talking about. But it's good to know, I think, that a month is around about 4.3 weeks. All right, let's get down into the area where you'll probably be tested on. These are the sorts of questions that you're going to get in a test. In a week, there are 7 days. So if we're converting between weeks and days, we're going to multiply by 7. If we're converting between days and weeks, we're going to divide by 7. Days to hours, there are 24 hours in a day. So if we are going from days to hours, we're going to be 25. Where did 25 come from? We're going to be multiplying by 24. If we're converting between hours and days, we divide by 24. Hours to minutes, we multiply by 60. Minutes to hours, we divide by 60. Minutes to seconds, we multiply by 60. I can't talk and write at the same time. Times 60. Seconds to minutes, we're going to divide by 60. All right. So that's the sort of diagram that you're going to do that'll help you do conversions along the lines of the following. Here we go. Convert 3 days into minutes. All right. So days into minutes, I've got to go hours and then I've got to go minutes. So 3 days is going to be 3 times 24 hours times 60 minutes. So let's get the calculator out and we'll go 3 times 24 times 60 and we get 4,000 equals 4,320 minutes. All right, let's go 30 months into years. All right, so months to years. Oh, look here, I'm going to be dividing by 12, yeah? So 30 divided by 12 is going to be 2.5. So 30 months is 2.5 years. Yeah? All right, so what I want you to do now, girls, is press pause and have a go at these two now you tries. Convert 11 days into hours, convert 42 months into years, see how you go, and then press play and see if you got the right answers. You can press pause now. All right, let's go. 11 days into hours. 11, and each day has 24 hours. So 10 24s is 250, so 240, so 11 24s must be 264 hours. 11 days, 264 hours. convert 42 months into years. Let's have a look. Months into years, we divide by 12. 42 divided by 12. 42 divided by 12. 42 divided by 12 equals 3.5 years. How did you go? Did you get them right? You'll have practice to do in the textbook exercises. And as long as you stick with this diagram, and as long as this is a diagram you can kind of picture in your head and reproduce if you need to, you will be sweet with those types of problems. All right, let's have a discussion about 24-hour time. So, girls, have you ever watched an army show and seen them talk about, we're going to meet at 0800 hours, or we're going to meet at 2400 hours? This is 24-hour time. So we typically work on 12-hour time. Now, the way 12-hour time works is, I'll just point out here on this diagram, you start at midnight, you go 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., all the way, and then when you get to midday, you start again. It's 12 until it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So you get these two 12-hour cycles. Whereas 24-hour time, what happens is you start at 0 and then you go all the way through to 12, so that's midday, and 1 o'clock is actually 100 hours, and 3 o'clock, you see 3 o'clock there, is actually 1,500 hours. It's pretty easy to convert between them, because if you needed to convert, say, 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 24-hour time, guess what? You just add 12. You just add 12 to it. So 4 plus 12 is 16. Yeah, and if you need to go in the opposite direction, yeah, you just subtract 12. If it's above 12, if it's after 12 midday, you just subtract 12 and you get back to where you need to. For example, let's say what's 12-hour time version of 1900 hours? 19 minus 12 is 7. Yeah? So let's do some examples that makes more sense of that. And you can see here up in this diagram here, you can see 1700 hours minus 12 is 5 p.m. Yeah? 1800 hours minus 12, here we go. 1800 hours minus 12 is 6 p.m. and so on. Yeah? So let's do some examples and it'll make more sense. Okay, so we've got to write 4:30 p.m. in 24-hour time. Well, I've just got to add 12 hours. 4:30 plus 12 hours equals 1630 hours. That's it. That's the answer. You just add 12. Let's have a look on the diagram. 4:30 in the afternoon. There it is. 1630 hours. We just add 12. All right. So 1945 hours in AM, PM time. We're going to just go subtract 12. So 1945 minus 12 equals 7:45 p.m. And it's p.m. because it's in this half of the day. Yeah? 7:45 p.m. All right, girls, I want you to press pause now and then have a go at these Now You tries by yourself and then see how you went. Press pause now. Okay, we're back. Let's see if you got the right answer. 10:30 p.m. in 24-hour time. 10:30 plus 12. We're going to plus 12 hours and we get 2230 hours. That is the answer. You just add 12. Here we go. Write 1720 hours in AM, PM time. We're just going to subtract 12 and we get 5:20 p.m. How did you go? Did you get them right? Pretty easy. All right, girls, let's talk about time zones. So why do we have time zones? You would be aware, you'd have seen the news, you'd have talked to people in New Zealand or England or Perth, and the time there is different. Well, here's a little picture of what the Earth looks like in relation to the sun. So you can see there that when the sun is shining on this part of the Earth, it is nighttime over here. This is day, this is night. And the Earth spins around on its axis once every 24 hours. So 12 hours later, this part here, these guys here, are going to be around here. Actually, that's not the best way to draw that. I should have actually drawn that like this. Like that, because he's going to rotate, yeah? After 12 hours, he's going to be on the other side. So you have these different time zones because the sun is shining on different parts of the world, so it's a different time of the day. So how do we work out what these time zones are? Well, there is a universal agreement internationally. It's been agreed that there are 24 different time zones in the world, and the first of those is a line that runs through this place in England, in London, called Greenwich. And you can see here there's a photo. There's actually, this guy here is actually the line. That line is actually the Greenwich Mean Time. So if you're standing on that line, you are standing on coordinated, you're standing on 0 Greenwich Mean Time. It's very interesting. And this little map here that I've shown you shows where that map is. So that means for anyone who's not in that exact line in the Earth, they're either ahead or behind Greenwich Mean Time. And this is how it works. So let's zoom in, right? So you can see here that Greenwich Mean Time, let's find London. Here's London. So Greenwich Mean Time is there. So whatever time it is there is UTC, which is a funny acronym because it actually stands for Coordinated Universal Time. Coordinated Universal Time, but it's called UTC. So if you are in Finland, let's say you're in Finland, that means you are actually 2 hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time. So your UTC plus 2. In Finland, your UTC plus 2. So if it was 4 o'clock if it was 4 p.m. in Greenwich, therefore it would be 6 p.m. in Finland. Yeah, Finland, because it's plus 2. And it makes sense, right? Because the sun is going that way in relation to the Earth. So it's when it's 4 o'clock here, the sun's gone further through the horizon if you're standing in Finland. All right, let's have a look at a couple more examples. So in the US, so let's have a look at, say, New York, right? So, or Washington. Here you go, Washington and New York, they're both in the same time zone, right? So they are -5. Can you see that? They're -5 UTC. So if it is midday, if it's midday midday in Greenwich, then it's going to be 7 a.m. in New York. 7 a.m. in New York because they're 5 hours behind. So we go 12 minus 5 is 7 a.m. So all you need to do to work out what a different time zone is have a look at these time zones, and you'll see a map like this on, if you have a globe of the world at home, it'll 100% it'll have these time zones on it at the top and the bottom. Let's have a look at Australia. So here's Australia. So Australia has 3 time zones, right? So we are plus 10. So in Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, we're plus 10. In South Australia, we're plus 9. And in there's really a caveat over that, actually, because we talk about Adelaide being a half. That's why they're shaded like that. But anyway, in Perth, they're plus 8. So for example, if it was 2 a.m. in Greenwich, which is UTC, Universal Time, then in Victoria, in Melbourne, what time would it be? It would be 12 midday, because we are plus 10. So we add 10 hours to whatever UTC is. All right, so hopefully that made some sense. Let's have a look at some examples using both the 24-hour, 12-hour clock here, and the diagram above. All right, so we're having a look at this question here. When it is 2 p.m. UTC, what time is it in these places? All right, first one, France. So France is, let's have a look at where France is. I might rub out some of this mess. France is here. Oh, look, France is in the same time zone as England. So when it's 2 p.m. in UTC, guess what time it is in France? 2 p.m. It's the same. Let's have a look at China. China's here. All right, so China has this weird thing where it keeps everything in the same time zone, which is a bit weird. See how Australia has divided itself up into different time zones? China doesn't do that. So in China, they're going, you can see here, I'll draw a little diagram. They're this time zone. So they are plus 8. So let's go back here. If it's 2 p.m. in UTC, 2 p.m. plus 8, it's going to be, let's write it out, 2 p.m. plus 8 equals 10 p.m. in China. All right, Queensland. Let's have a look at Queensland. Mind you, this doesn't account for daylight savings, but let's not get carried away. Queensland is going to be plus 10. Queensland is plus 10. So 2 plus 10 equals 12 p.m. 12 a.m. 12 a.m. because it has gone over midnight. 12 a.m. Let's have a look at Alaska. Alaska. Where's Alaska? This is a good little geography lesson for us too, isn't it? So Alaska is there. So Alaska is in this time zone here. So he's minus 10. Minus 10. So that's interesting, isn't it? So let's have a look. If it was 2 p.m., and we took 10 away, we'd get to 1, 2, and then another 8. I reckon that would get us to 4 a.m. So we've got a minus 10. So we go, it's 2 p.m. minus 10 hours equal 4 a.m. 4 a.m. All right. So girls, hopefully that made some sense. Why don't you do these ones as now you try? Now you try with these next ones. If it's 9:35 in Victoria, Australia, what time is it in these places? All right. It's a bit tricky because in this one we have to go in the opposite direction. All right. You can press pause now and have a go yourself, or if you're not sure, you can watch me do the first one and then see go from there. All right. Press pause if you want to. All right, 9:35 in Victoria. What time is it in New York? All right, let's have a look. We can work this out. 9:30. All right, so Victoria is plus 10. Victoria's plus 10. And New York is minus 5. Minus 5. Plus 10 and minus 5. So let's put those two things together. So Victoria plus 10. New York minus 5. So the difference there, we are actually 15 hours ahead. We are 15 hours ahead. Or you could say New York is 15 hours behind. 15 hours behind us. So if it's 9:35 in the morning, so let's go back up to our diagram here. It's 9:35 in the morning. It's going to be 15 hours earlier. So it's 9 and then another 6. So it's going to be, I reckon it's going to be 6:35 p.m. the previous day. 6:35 p.m. yesterday. Yesterday. Does that make sense? So let me just make a little bit more room here. 6:35 p.m. the previous day, because they're 15 hours behind. So 9 hours plus 6 hours. Yep, that makes perfect sense. What time is it going to be in Egypt? Let's have a look. Egypt is there. Oh, come on. Egypt is there. So let's have a look at what Egypt is plus 2. Egypt is plus 2 UTC. So Egypt is plus 2. Victoria is plus 10. So we are 8 hours ahead. They are 8 hours behind. 8 hours behind us. So, why am I dotting my U? 8 hours behind us. So I reckon it is 1:35 a.m. a.m. in Egypt. 1:35 a.m. in Egypt. So hopefully that made some sense. Let's have a look at London, UK. Well, I know London is 0 UTC. London is 0 UTC. Victoria is plus 10. So we are 10 hours ahead. So they are going to be 11:35 p.m. the previous night, yesterday. Does that make sense? Because if you add 10 hours, to 11:35, you get to 9:35 the next day. Let's do the last one. Chile. Chile is in South America, and Chile is in, I think Chile counts itself in this time zone here, the way they work, because they want to be in the same time zone as Argentina. So they are going to be minus 4. Chile minus 4. All right, they are minus 4. Victoria is plus 10. So they are 14 hours behind. So 14 hours behind is going to be, if we took off 10 hours, we get to 11:35. Take off four more. So hang on, let's do it up here. If we took off 10 hours, we get to 11:35. Let's take off 4 more, we get to 7:35. So there's 7:35 p.m. yesterday. So that's how you work out these time zones. These last ones are probably about as tricky as you're going to get. So hopefully that all made sense. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, this is the homework I'd like you to do, please, girls. Sorry, I've just lost my spot. This is the homework I'd like you to do. Exercise 4J in the textbook. Question 2, AEIMQ. 3, ACE. 4, ADG. 5, 6, and if you're feeling really confident, let's treat those as the confident ones. You can have a go at those ones there. All right, girls, I'll end the screencast there.